Monika then brushes past us and goes back to the teacher's desk. I guess we can go now? Yuri mutters as she opens the door and walks out into the hallway. The hallway becomes eerily silent as the door closes shut behind us. Yuri and I are standing in the middle of the hallway with not a single person in sight. The air is becoming increasingly fraught with tension as we both struggle to maintain eye contact. A pit forms in my stomach as I brace for what I always thought to be the inevitable. Fortunately, it seems Yuri is just as nervous about this as I am. Part of me hopes that this entire thing is some sort of joke or was complete misunderstanding. Maybe she's going to ask me about something else. Am I just overthinking things again? But given how she's been acting lately, it makes either of those options increasingly unlikely, especially since it seems Yuri's putting more thought into speaking than normal. As I wait for a few more seconds, I feel that part of me wants Yuri to confess her love. I've always been attracted to her to a degree. And if this is what I think it's about, then this would be the perfect opportunity to explore something that could always still be. Why are we throwing Sayori under the bus right now just because we're having one bad day because this guy can't keep his mouth shut? I finally grow tired of waiting and decide to start the conversation. So, what did you want to talk about? Well, truthfully, I think we both know why I asked you to come out here. Not really. Well, first things first. I'd like to take the time to apologize for behaving so rudely to you yesterday. I didn't mean to cause a scene. No, it's fine, Yuri. I'm not angry with you over it. Well, that's a relief. But that's not what you wanted to talk about? No, it isn't. Forgive me, but I've had this on my chest for quite a while now. It's alright, take your time. Alright. Oh no, it's literally going to be Sayori's confession, but then it's with Yuri. It has practically the same music, but it's a bit different. Mark, over the course of my life, there's been very few individuals that have really accepted me for who I am as a person. Not too many guys have ever made me feel truly welcomed, at least not without an ulterior motive. Before I joined the literature club, I had hardly felt comfortable in my own skin. I don't often see the redeeming qualities in myself. Truthfully, I don't always believe the compliments that people give me. Mostly because of who I am, I struggled with this. Simply put, it takes a lot for me to feel attracted to someone. But with you, you've made me feel different. In a good way. I've already messed this up. Yuri, it's fine, really. You know I'm always willing to hear you out. Yuri takes a shaky breath before resuming her speech. That's what I admire about you, Mark. You haven't been like other guys I've had interactions with. Even though we've had limited interactions since you've joined, you've always managed to make a positive impact on me. I know I don't always tend to stand out from the rest of the crowd. I always try to make myself as invisible as possible, and it makes sense why you chose to spend time with Sayori over me. She was always the most outgoing out of all of us, even before you joined. But I was very surprised when you chose me for the festival preparations. I was shocked at first, but I was really grateful that you did. But I couldn't help but worry if that was going to be our only chance to spend time together. Even though we only spent a brief amount of time around each other, I really began to miss you. Seeing you with the others, especially with Sayori on Tuesday, felt like the norm in the literature club was returning. And I didn't want that. As much as I've generally isolated myself in the club, I began to realize how it was affecting my chances for finding someone. And very few have shown me the same level of kindness you have given me. I didn't want what we experienced on that Sunday and during the festival to just be another fleeting moment in my life. So I turned to poetry to help map my feelings out. To help map out my feelings and try to decide what I should do next. It was from there that I realized that I had a serious that I had serious feelings for you. I thought that we had the potential for us to be something serious. I thought I didn't possess the courage at the time to tell you directly how I felt. I resolved to give you my confession letter instead. I assumed you read it, given how you've been acting around me lately. Yeah. Also, like I said, we just got to rip that band-aid off right now. Like, talk about this normally, because I literally have been not intentionally, because this guy's he's like scared of it, so he doesn't really want to like get that conversation started right away. But like unintentionally, I've been leading Yuri on for the entire week so far, and that's pretty bad. But now that you're here, I believe I finally have the courage to say what I've been meaning to tell you. I love you. I want to make you as happy as possible. I want to return the favor for everything you've done for me. I don't know what I did to deserve your kindness, but I would be honored to make our relationship that much more special by making things between us official. I know I've rambled on for quite a while now, but you just mean so much to me. And I really couldn't find a good way to condense everything. So that's how I feel about you. Yuri looks on at me, her eyes glinting with hopeful optimism as she awaits for my response. I'm really touched by her confession. I never realized how much of an impact I've had on Yuri since I first joined. And truthfully, part of me likes her back. But should I really trust my relationship with Sayori? No, of course not. Am I still happy being with her? Well, don't you dare just base that entirely on today. There's so many different reasonings. And either way, I'm kicking up some sort of storm regardless of how I answer this. But Yuri deserves an answer. Do I really love her back? As my thought process kicks into overdrive, I look back and forth between the grounds and Yuri's eyes as I try to settle on a decision. Yuri, clearly sensing that I'm in deep thought, averts her eyes in an effort to make me feel more comfortable. But I still feel the anxiety swelling inside me. I feel like the exact same pressure when Sayori confessed to me. While the circumstances aren't quite the same, there's a few parallels here. All I know is that things are different now, and I'm going to make it so. I look deep into Yuri's eyes and finally articulate my answer. Yeah, again, if I literally just look at Yuri, I would say yes, I would love you too, but I can't just look at just her. I have to, you know, I'm in a relationship with Sayori now, and no way in hell that I'm just going to fucking trash that just because Yuri has confessed to me like that. That would be so horrible. Yeah. If nothing had happened between Sayori and I, and Yuri confessed, I would of course not 100% just selected this without a doubt in my mind. If, you know, if in the, like in the first game, the first act, you know, like we were just hanging out and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden she confessed, I would say yes. But that hasn't happened. I've been having a fantastic time with Sayori, and today's been a bit of a rough one, but yeah, I have to tell her the truth. I can't just fucking throw Sayori under the bus like that. That is horrible. Why the hell do you say it like that, even? I need to give Yuri some context. Just start by saying I'm in a relationship with Sayori right now. Or something, you know, give a bit of, don't just say I just want to be friends, period. What? Yuri takes a step back with a mix of emotions on her face as she attempts to process what she just heard. I get that this is hard to hear, but look, I think it's just better if we stay friends for right. Yeah, explain, don't just say don't just say no, say, well, I love Sayori, I'm in a relationship with Sayori, you know? I like you, but I love Sayori, and of course I'm not going to throw it all away on the chance that maybe I love you in the same way that I love Sayori. You know, say something like that. Don't just say don't just say we should just be friends. Give some fucking context. I'd love to spend more time with you too, honest. Truthfully, I don't think we spend enough time with each other. And I know I can't go back in time for us to hang out more, but going forward I'd love to spend more time with you on a regular basis. I just don't think I like you back in the same way you do. I'm sorry. Yeah. Tears are rolling down Yuri's face as he sniffles and shakes in anger. After about a solid minute, she finally opens her teary eyes. No. What? I pour my heart out to you, after just showing a little bit of interest in me. That all you tell me is that you want to be friends? Yes, I'm sorry, Yuri. I suppose I made a mistake. No, you didn't. Yuri, you're a great person, and you're attractive in your own way. Well, you're just attractive, period, but okay. I'm not turning you down because I don't like you. But I'm committed to Sayori. Save it! I spent so much time invested in you, and I got nothing. Yeah, well, that can happen. That can happen, Yuri. I should have expected this. All guys are the same. Yuri, go fuck yourself! Yuri's voice cracks again as she starts sobbing. Before I could even respond, Yuri runs back into the club room. I hate that it had to play out like that, but I think I made the right decision for my relationship with Sayori. Yeah. I can't just say, yeah, I love you too. Fuck you, Sayori. Bye. That's never gonna happen. It might not exist. Yeah, well, no, it wasn't perfect because you could have said things a little bit differently. She could still be angry at the end. You know, that I don't control her emotions. I can't, even if I give her my best explanation, she could still be extremely angry. You know, I can't change that, but I could have at least tried a bit better to explain the situation because I just said I want to be friends, and that was it. I said it like in a few different ways, and only at the very end, when she was already starting to feel angry and sad and whatever, only then was I coming in with the I'm actually in love with and a relationship with Sayori, but that was way too late. But I owe it to her to give her everything I got. I promised her as much. I burst through the clubroom doors to find everything in complete disarray. Yuri is sitting face down on a nearby desk, sobbing uncontrollably. Sayori, Monika and Natsuki are all over Yuri, attempting to calm her down. Yuri, calm down, what happened? Yuri briefly lifts her head up. As soon as she sees me, she immediately slams her face back into the desk, crying twice as harder and louder than before. Okay, are those tears? Because it looks like weird scars almost. So Yuri, Monika and Natsuki all exchange looks, bewildered at the situation they found themselves in. Yuri? So Yuri attempts to place her hand on Yuri. But however, Yuri slaps it away as hard as she can, making Sayori howl in pain. Get your stupid messy self away from me, you bitch! You've kept him all to yourself, and now you care about what I think? Go away and ruin someone else's day, Sayori. The room becomes dead quiet as Yuri finishes her insult. Natsuki is in total shock. Monika still looks completely bewildered. Sayori looks as if she's about to break down and cry as Natsuki angrily stares her down. Okay. If you want to be like that. Sayori promptly walks back to her original seat and tries her hardest to fight back tears of her own. Monika and Natsuki immediately turn to me. What did you do? I didn't do anything. Yuri resumes her sobbing. Mark, step aside with me for a moment, she says sternly. Monika then turns to Natsuki. Natsuki, try to see if you can calm her down, okay? Natsuki grits her teeth in annoyance. She seems reluctant with Monika's request, but given the gravity of the situation, Natsuki nevertheless accepts it. Okay. Monika takes me by the wrist and walks me out the club room. Just before leaving, I hear a snippet of Natsuki's efforts to calm down. Whoa. Natsuki, I hear, what the fuck? I hear a snippet of Natsuki's efforts to calm down Natsuki. That is not to calm down Yuri, you mean? Okay, whatever. Yuri? Get away from me, you loli! Oh, I'm sorry, but Yuri's insults. Loli? What are you calling a loli, you edgy... Yeah, okay, that's not... Well, why did we assign Natsuki... Well, she was the only person left, but why did we assign Natsuki for that role? Monika shuts the door before I can hear the end of Natsuki's response. The only thing we're able to make out is muffled yelling and screaming. What happens? I turned Yuri down. She took it that bad, huh? I'm afraid so. She gave me this big speech about how... Don't say it like that. This big speech sounds like you... It was a heartfelt fucking confession. That's what it was. A extremely heavy, extremely difficult, extremely personal confession. I was so kind and welcoming to her, and now she has never really had that before. I told her that I didn't like her back the same way, even though I offered to hang out with her more. It's safe to say that offer was rejected, though. She cursed me out and ran back into the room. I see. Monika nervously grimaces as she tries to assess the situation. Well, I'm glad you made the right decision for Sayori's sake. I'm sure Sayori will appreciate you trying to stay loyal to her. I've just tried to be the best I can around her. I wish you could say the same for Yuri, though. Well, we'll get everything sorted out with her, don't you worry. She'll just need a chance to cool down. Do I really want to know how she started all this? Well, she pretty much barged in, starting screaming and cursing at Sayori. Then she just broke down crying in the desk. Wow. Yeah, she's never been mad like this. Oh, great. Looks like Sayori's not going to be the only one needing therapy after all this. Monika begrudgingly looks at the door, where you can still make out the screaming from the others. Well, so much for getting Yuri to calm down. What are we going to do? I'll try talking to her one-on-one, see if that does anything. It's my responsibility to calm her down anyways. Just try not to say anything to her, okay? Alright. Well, here goes nothing. Monika nervously smiles as she swings open the door. Okay, everyone! This is not the time for an okay, everyone. As soon as we enter back into the club room, we're greeted by the sound of Yuri and Natsuki still screaming at each other. Wow, Natsuki. It seems like you can't come up with an original insult other than accusing me of cutting myself. Natsuki clenches her fist as she lets out an angry grunt. You literally called me a trap, you whore! And you accused me of being a member of a satanic cult. Isn't it time for you to scrounge under the vending machines again? That's it! Natsuki threateningly raises her fist at Yuri. Somehow everything is in even worse shape. Fortunately, Monika steps in between Yuri and Natsuki and pushes them away from each other. Enough, you two! There's going to be no more fighting here today, understand? Natsuki and Yuri avert their eyes away from Monika and mumble something that I can't make out. Natsuki, go sit down. I'm going to have a word with Yuri first. Come on, Monika, are you really going to let her get away with saying that to me? I've had it with her and her attitudes. I'll be more than happy to... Just go. Natsuki and Monika coldly stare each other down. Natsuki certainly had her moments, but she's never acted this way towards Monika before. My attention is briefly broken as I hear a sniffle come from the other side of the room. I look over to see Sayori still sitting in the same spot, almost motionless. I don't even think she saw us come in. I carefully walk over to Sayori and kneel down next to her. Sayori, are you okay? She doesn't respond or even acknowledge me. Not knowing what to do, I take a seat next to Sayori and bring her into my arms. What did they do to you? I'm barely able to make out the arguing in the background as I try my best to comfort Sayori. After about a minute, she eventually speaks up. Mark? I hear her sniffle again. It's okay, sir, I'm here for you now. Sayori finally looks at me, tears already streaming down her face. I'm sorry for all of this. It's not your fault, Sayori. This is all on me. It's going to be okay. I hate to butt in over here, but none of this is going to be okay until we fix this. Everyone in the room is taken aback by Natsuki's assertiveness. She's usually the one starting problems, not trying to fix them. Monika breaks out of her shock and attempts to regain control of the situation. Natsuki, I don't think that's the best idea right now. Natsuki gives Monika her usual angry stare, but Monika does her best to continue on. Everyone's not in a good mood right now, so let me talk to Yuri in private and go home. Club's over for you today. No. Natsuki's icy tone causes Monika to take a step back. Everyone else in the room watches in uncomfortable silence as Monika faces down Natsuki again. What do you mean, no, Natsuki? We're not going to get anything done today if you're at everyone's throat. If you're at everyone's throats. It's better for you to leave while I talk to Yuri. I'm not leaving until that bitch apologized for everything she's done and said to me. I'm done being walked over by her. And fat chance that I'm leaving Mark alone with you. Why me? Oh, are you saying that to Sayori? Monika scolds at Natsuki's insinuation. Don't be hysterical, Natsuki. I don't know what's gotten into you, but you're not in the best state of mind to have a civil discussion. Oh, shut up. There you go again with your toxic attitude. There you go again, trying to manipulate the situation. What the hell are you talking about? I'm sending you home because you're creating more problems rather than solving them. And I'm not putting up with any more drama today. I don't buy that. You didn't come rushing in as Yuri was leveling all kinds of threats against me. You're off with Mark in the hallway doing who knows what. So you're either taking Yuri's side without hearing what I have to say, or you want me away from Mark so it'd be easier for you to have him. My jaw drops as Natsuki continues to level her accusation. What's gotten into her? Why does she think Monika wants to keep me all to herself? Cooler heads will prevail, Natsuki. With just a little bit of time, we'll all get over this incident today and move on. I'm done with moving on from this crap. Natsuki slowly starts walking towards Monika. And I'm done with being ordered around by you. Are you just trying to turn this club into cesspool? Natsuki is aggressively up in Monika's face. Monika pushes Natsuki back away from her personal space. Yes, Natsuki, I'd very much like to move on from the drama you and Yuri bring into this club on a daily basis. Yuri probably stands up, clearly not letting Monika's attack on her go unanswered. Excuse me? Monika, are you that blind? She's the one always causing problems. I beg to differ. And you want to talk, considering you came in here crying your eyes out because Mark turned you down. Monika really should not have said that. I wince and look at Sayori, but she's now turned her attention to the drama at the front of the room. Don't pretend you would have done the same, Monika. What? Don't pretend you wouldn't have done the same. Why is everyone accusing Monika of being into me? It's not like we've really spent any time together. Monika's eyes narrow on Yuri as she slowly turns away from Natsuki and walks up to her. They're only a few inches apart from each other. I've never seen Monika get this angry. She doesn't look that angry, to be honest, but okay. Seeing the sight of her is unsettling, to say the least. Just admit it, Monika. Admit to what, exactly? Both girls continue to stare each other down. I stand helplessly by Sayori, unsure if I should step in. Admit to Mark that you're in love with him. What? Spill it, in front of all of us. Confess to us your deepest, darkest secret. Monika only clenches her fists. Her knuckles turn white as her flawless face starts to give way to shades of crimson. That's right, we know. It was obvious from the start. Not to mention, you're not exactly the quietest person when you're with your other friends. I overheard quite a lot, to put it mildly. Monika grits her teeth. But that wasn't the... What? But that wasn't the only... What? But that wasn't the only Oh, that wasn't the only giveaway either. Took me a while, but I got the sentence. Monika doesn't respond, only clenching her fist tighter in an effort to control herself. I think it's safe to say she's no longer intended in helping Yuri. When I was walking around after the festival, I heard you practicing that song of yours. I heard you talking to yourself about how it was all about you and Mark. I guess that's what's usually keeping Monika from coming to the club on time. Might I suggest you pick a different title named Monika finally snaps. You want to talk about deep dark secrets, Yuri? I think some of yours cut a little deeper than mine. Yuri's face immediately goes red as the room goes dead silent. I turn to Sayori, who is clearly as shocked as me in this sudden bombshell. Tears start streaming down Yuri's face. Maybe you should show yourself. Maybe you should show us your sleeves. Yuri wipes a tear from her face and proceeds to slap Monika across the face. Feeling the full force of Monika's slap, Monika staggers right back into the desk behind her, barely able to catch herself to avoid falling face first onto the floor. Monika clutches her face with one hand as she slowly stands right back up, wincing in pain. Through the pain, she eerily grins at Yuri. So that's where you want to go with this, huh? Keep talking, I'm going to add another deep dark secret to my collection. You. You gotta, I know this is all very serious, but you gotta admit, that's a pretty cool line. Guys! Sayori's shout grabs the attention of all of the other three girls. Come on, we're better than this. Is this really who we are as a club? Just stop fighting, please. Sayori, emotionally drained, promptly falls back into her seat. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Sayori's plea got through to everyone. Oh, look at you, acting like the peacemaker. You want him just as much as we do. At this point, I finally muster up the courage to step in. Natsuki, that's enough. She's had a rough day as it is. And none of you guys are making it any easier on her with that constant bickering. She just wants you all for herself, Mark, and the fact is that you deserve better than these losers. Everyone now focused their attention on Natsuki. I turned to Sayori, who is on the verge of tears. Well, maybe I should have said it like that. No, please keep going, Natsuki. I already know I'm an awful person. Sayori! I'm not surprised you had feelings for Mark, Natsuki. You're never great at hiding it. I'm not the one who tried to steal him from Sayori. My head starts spinning as Natsuki and Yuri continue their shouting at each other. They all like me? I have absolutely no idea what I should do at this point. Even if I try speaking up, I feel like I'm only going to make things worse between them. At least I treated him like an actual human being. I was never as off-putting as you. That's true. Sorry, Natsuki, but that's actually kind of true. At this point, I feel as if I should leave. The atmosphere has become unbearable. If you only knew what you wrote about him, you sick freak. Maybe if you guys actually spent time with him instead of acting like jerks, you'd figure out what he likes. How can we do that when you've kept him from us? You're always with him. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I never really considered that. Well, consider this. Just go away and never come back. We don't want you in the way. Sayori finally breaks down crying and slams her face down into the desk. What the hell was your problem, Natsuki? What's my problem? You're the one who accused me of looking under the vending machine and called her a fake. That's no excuse, Natsuki. You don't say that to people. You have no room to talk either, Monika. You accuse Yuri of cutting herself too. My blood starts to boil as I clench my fists. I've had enough of this crap. Okay, okay everyone. I raise my voice as loud as I can so that everyone can hear me. If you're going to continue to act like this, like total monsters, then I don't want to be part of this club until you sort yourselves out. In my eyes, you're all guilty. I grab my bag and proceed to exit the room, letting the door slam shut behind me before anyone has a chance to stop me. Aren't we taking Sayori? I ended up walking the way home, not bothering to wait for Sayori to catch up with me. I didn't even look behind me once to check if she was there, and if she was, I didn't hear her. As soon as I got home, I got changed out of my uniform and holed myself up in my room. I lay back on my bed, my eyes still ringing from all the vicious insults the girls hurled at one another. I still can't believe what I heard in there. They treated each other like dirt just so they could try to win me over. What am I going to do? I don't even know if I should come back. With how brutal they were to each other, I don't think they'll make amends anytime soon. The club's probably ruined for good. Even if by some miracle we can move past this, they all like me and they'll probably continue to fight each other whether I'm there or not. I suppose I have an obligation to stick around. I need to do my part for the photo shoot. That is the least of our concerns at this point, assuming the club doesn't disband by Monday. Yeah, that one, yeah. I let out a long sigh and stare up at my ceiling as I slowly begin to get lost in my thoughts. Bzzz. I hear my phone vibrate. I reach over to my phone and see who messaged me. It's from Sayori. Can we please talk about today? Face to face? I don't need to contemplate, yes. For once, she really didn't do anything to instigate. No, of course not. And it's still, you know, that was the whole fucking reason why I made that fucking judgment call. I said no to Yuri because I love you, Sayori, so she was one of the biggest victims. But now if she comes over, she's going to blame herself for everything. I'm not particularly sure if I'm up for Shut up, man! If she needs some support, right? Like she needs it now, you know? Like, what the hell? And to be honest, I think I could also use a bit of a venting session. Yes. I'm gonna save. Alright, well, it's not really a cliffhanger to end this episode off, because I'm obviously going to say yes, but, yeah, well, find out next episode, see what happens anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Holy crap, this was a lot of heavy things, and yeah, the club is in a very bad state right now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Click the like button if you did, subscribe to join the Roman army, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, Romans. Valete.